Hey everyone, it's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day, and Merry Christmas to everybody out there celebrating Christmas Day. And I just want to, the guest that we have on today is going to understand every damn day more than most of us. And I just people are asking me, why are you doing this on Christmas? Why are you having guests? Why are you putting yourself through that? And again, I want to mention to you that poverty doesn't end on any day. It is every damn day. Substance use. If you're out there using today, don't use alone. I know it's a tough day. If you're out there taking care of somebody, they might not even know it's Christmas. If you're out there and you're struggling and you're homeless and all of that, this doesn't go away. So every damn day we're going to be here for you. And today I got one of our biggest supporters, our very good friend, Shawn. How you doing today, Shawn?
I'm doing great, Jerry. How about you?
I'm doing great too. I feel super good about today. I have hope for our future, and I've been wanting to talk to you for so long. So today I get to meet you for real, and
Merry
Merry Christmas.
Present, right? One of our Christmas presents.
Oh, that's a great thing. That's a very great thing. So, do you already celebrate? Did you sneak dinner in yet, or is that later?
Not yet. Our Christmas tradition is omelets and homemade waffles with strawberries and whipped cream and all of that good stuff. And my children are going to be preparing the meal. How about that?
Yeah, that's spectacular.
That's another Christmas gift, right?
One of my best Christmas gifts so far today is that my son came to the Fledge with us and cooked the dinner meal that we served to some of the fledglings that are out and about. And it was so great. It was so great.
Precious. Love it.
So I'm sure we'll fit Christmas in here a couple more times in the conversation. But as we move forward here, for those of everyone watching, you come to almost every show. You comment on almost every show. And I appreciate that so much, that you're so engaged with us. So, I'm just going to step back for the next 30 minutes and you run the show because you know how to do it.
Oh, wow. Well, I love what you're doing, Jerry. I mean, to have carved out a place for entrepreneurs to meet and support one another is unique. I've never heard of it before. I've never seen that be done in Lansing. And so I'm so thankful that your personality has been endowed with this vision, and that you've taken action to bring forth what you're endowed with. Nobody else can do this but you. And I admire it greatly.
Well, I appreciate that. But you're going to see what a hero you are to me in about the next 30 minutes. So let's jump right in. Why don't you tell us something about Shawn and the projects that you're working on?
Okay. Shawn is from Lansing, Michigan, born and raised. I'm just as excited about Lansing as you are. I went to Foster Elementary School, Walter French, and then Everett High School.
All right.
And had an outstanding experience. I feel really good about the education that I got. The teaching staff, hats off to the Lansing School District for the diverse representation of teachers. Had a lot of great support, a lot of love from teachers and coaches. I was on the swimming team, I was on the cheerleading team, all of my years at Walter French, all of my years at Everett High School. I actually was homecoming princess at Everett High School. So lots of fond memories. I feel really good about Lansing. I actually went to Clark College in Atlanta, Georgia, which is a historically Black college.
Yeah.
And I was so homesick for Lansing that I couldn't take it. So I was there for one semester, returned home, started Michigan State the second semester, and graduated as a Spartan. So I'm a big time Lansing girl all the way.
Yeah. I think no, I think Walter French closed right around the time I first started going to Everett.
Yeah.
So I went to Everett for my sophomore year in 81, and then I
Uh-huh.
graduated from East 81, 82, and I graduated from Eastern in 84. Um, but my mother went to Walter French. My grandmother went to Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
These are old schools. They need to do something with Walter French. It's too beautiful to let it sit there and rot.
It is gorgeous. That you can't beat that old architecture.
Nope, not at all.
No, it's
So,
gorgeous.
um, let's jump into your projects. Let's talk about the Lady Miss Betty, and let's talk about Shawn Watson Davis TV and Mothers Matter merchandise and your 101 conversational. Let's get all that in today.
Well, that Lady Miss Betty is my oldest project. That project was established, I think, in 87, I think. And no, 97, I'm sorry. And so that one is the oldest one. So let's start with that one. So Betty is my mom. And my mom was a phenomenal mom, you know. She developed Alzheimer's and it got underway approximately, let's say, 20 years ago. And it started with her saying, something's not right with my mind. And she said, I'm getting confused. And so we went the normal route of, going to doctor's appointments. We went to U of M. We went to Michigan State. We went to Bourne Clinic in Grand Rapids. I'm on the computer researching, right? And the medications just did not go over well with her. They would make her tired, kept her in the bed, that type of thing. So lo and behold, I had a neighbor who was a professor out at Michigan State, and he brought me a periodical to read that diagrammed supplements that were beneficial for the gut and the brain. And so I started researching those and started using them with mom. And sure enough, she was better functioning with that. They didn't make her so tired and make her feel like she just wanted to stay in the bed all the time. So anyway, as luck would have it, we had a caregiver who loved photography. She loved videoing. She loved photography. She loved dressing mom up and doing her makeup. And, she was just a girly girl, right? And so she initiated basically the channel. And she maintained the channel, and lo and behold, there was another caregiver who was fond of my mom, but my mom was feisty, and so she would work everybody over. And so this particular caregiver started referring to her as, that lady should be talking about my mom, and she would just be exaggerating about that lady. Woo! She is something else. I got to go get a break, y'all. See you tomorrow, type thing. And so that moniker just stuck because we would tease and play a lot about this particular caregiver referring to mom as that lady. So it is that channel, that YouTube channel is a journaling of the care that mom was given in terms of the supplemental care and in terms of the walking. We would walk mom. She had daily walks. She was a walker, Jerry. So growing up, my mom was always into exercising. She was very flexible. She liked to stretch. She liked to walk. She liked to keep her body together. And so anyway, that lady, Miss Betty, basically is a compiling of all of the things that went into keeping mom nourished and how to get her to cooperate, because there were many times that she just was not very cooperative. So you had to figure out how to get her to drink, how to get her to stand up so that we could get her to transition to the bathroom. When she didn't need to do that. Her thing was like, I'm fine sitting right here. Why do I need to do that? Type thing. When you knew that she needed to go to the bathroom because we were going to serve her dinner. So she needed to void or be given the opportunity to void before eating her dinner. So it's basically a love story. I look at it as a love story. I look at it as an honoring of mom. To love, honor, and cherish is one thing when everything is good. It's easy to bring flowers and candy and give hugs, but it's hard as heck to endure the dementia card. And that was the card that was dealt to my mom. And so it's a journaling of that whole experience and just an honoring of the essence of who she was.
Yeah. And she's passed away.
She has passed away.
When did she pass?
She passed away January 4th of this year.
Okay. I'm sorry about that, Shawn.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit, if you don't mind, about what that journey was. Like I said in the beginning, it's every damn day.
That's right.
You don't have a choice that, hey, I'm going to call in sick or I'm not going to show up today.
That's right.
And at the same time, you're probably watching a lot of heartbreaking things. Like, did she know who you were?
Yes, she knew who I was. Really, she seemed to always have a sense of who I was. She seemed to never lose that. She just didn't have problem-solving skills,
Okay.
And she was a holder, she was a protector. So with voiding, for example, she would always hold the urine. She didn't want to go. I mean, she would not go to the bathroom until her body just couldn't take it anymore. So at night when she slept was when she was more relaxed and more likely to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
She suffered also from irritable bowel syndrome. So she swung from constipation to diarrhea. And there was a period of time when she was more so in diarrhea mode. And then there was a period of time where she was more so in constipation mode. But irritable bowel syndrome tends to swing. And that was true with her. And so the cleanups behind that, that's the thing. When people think about dementia, they know the memory goes bad. But until you're dealing with dementia, you don't understand how we could get mom into the bathtub, but it was hard as hell to get her out of the bathtub. And to get her to come down the stairs or to go up the stairs, you had to figure, like dealing with a child oftentimes, where you have to figure out how to get them motivated to participate in what you need them to do. And so we found that counting was invaluable. If we said, Mom, stand up, come on, 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, Mom, 5, 6, come on, Betty, go, 8, not, you know what I mean? If you did that, we found that was very helpful. If we said, Betty, take a drink, she may not want to take that drink. But if you say, come on, Betty, take 1 drink, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then you could get, you had to propagate these actions.
Do you think that a lot of those techniques that people use, you have to customize them for that personality that's still there, those memories?
Absolutely. It has to be customized. No doubt about it. And Jerry, life is still happening, while you're taking care of the person with Alzheimer's, like 7 years into it, my husband's stomach started hurting. And next thing you know, he's been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And the next thing you know, we're back and forth to all these doctor visits and chemotherapies and radiations, and we're back and forth. to Detroit for that. So we need care here to hold mom down. We need care to help us to get down the road and back and whatnot. That takes a lot of, you really need a lot of support.
Yeah.
And so when we took mom in, we had no idea that my husband would pass away before she did. And I wound up being sandwiched in between the needed, my husband's needs and my mother's needs.
Yeah.
And so life is very tricky. My oldest sister, who didn't have children, and so she was very motherly towards everyone, she passed away a year before my mom did. So you just never know, what's going to happen. And Alzheimer's puts a lot of strain on a lot of relationships. And, there was a time my mother's best friend was from Mississippi. And I remember as a child how her mother, that we call Big Mama, she'd cook, the traditional meal, but she'd always send us kids out to deliver these meals to other people. And she was always concerned about the sick and the shut in and people that didn't have. And I can tell you, with having taken care of my mom, and like I say, when she first moved in, my husband was big, strong, and healthy. My 2 children were here in the house with me. So we had an internal live-in support staff, as well as, other people coming in hodgepodge, right? But we had the live-ins, because the live-ins can catch the incidentals, right?
Yeah.
So over time, my children were 9 years old, 9 and 12. I have 3 children, Jerry. My oldest child is my stepson, who lives in Georgia. But the 2 live-ins were 9 and 12. And so mom being here with us for almost 12 years, the kids grew up, they go off to college. Bruce leaves via sickness and death. And the last couple of years, I was here by myself. And I was a more tired Shawn at that point, right? So the dementia is getting worse. I've been on duty 7 days a week with parenting, being a wife, being a caregiver. So what's happening to my body? I'm getting weaker as the Alzheimer's is getting what? Stronger. Right?
Yep.
So there were Christmases and Thanksgivings and 4th of July's and everything where I would be here and I'd be like, wow, nobody's, my grill, my person who would be on the grill is gone. And nobody was bringing any plates in. Nobody was thinking about. So I reflected, and the beauty of this was that I reflected back to my mother's best friend, who whenever she would cook a pot of gumbo or whenever she would cook whatever, she was always sending plates out, and her kids hated it. They hated, being used to deliver these plates. But in her doing that, she was teaching them to be compassionate and to be caring and to participate in caring for people that were in these special circumstances. And so Alzheimer's is a unique illness. I am really into advocating and getting it on the radar of service organizations, because just like what you're doing is so unique, I've never heard of any service organization that particularly had families dealing with Alzheimer's dementia on their radar. And it needs to be, because like I say, I've lived through cancer. Cancer is horrible and it needs support, but oftentimes it's not as long,
Yeah.
But this dementia thing, it can last years and years and years and years. On the day that my husband died, on the day of his funeral, Jerry, I had not one day off, not one day in my pajamas. Not one day did anybody say, Shawn, go to your room and stay there. I've got this. And they couldn't do that. It'd be nice to say that somebody volunteered to do it, but I couldn't have accepted it because mom's routine was such a specialized routine that you had to be working here to know how to execute the routine. And you had to have the skill to know how to work with her personality. But I'm just saying, I want people to be aware that you can't do everything, but this condition and families dealing with this condition, they need to know love. They need to know support. They need people to ask, to say. I did have people, I want to give credit. I had a cousin, for example, who would stop by and say, I've got an hour. What can I do for you? And she would, I'd say, well, if you can sweep the floor, mop the floor, if you can catch the dishes and do the bathroom, that would be great. She said, I got you. So little things, where people can drop in. I had a volunteer from my church who really stood by us very well. She would come on Tuesdays and Thursdays for many, many, many weeks and years. She did that. But I just want people to know that Alzheimer's, dementia needs to be on the radar. If you're a service organization, you need to talk to people like me so that you can get a feel for what the gaps are, so that you can get it on your radar and get a plan to service families that are stricken with these situations. My air conditioning failed. We were in the summer in the heat for days. We had power outages. You know how Michigan is. We had power outages for days. And so we were having to light candles all over the house and whatnot, trying to execute and feed my mom and keep her clean. You got to keep that body clean. So we're boiling water, toting that up and down the stairs to make a bath for her. I mean, the stories go on and on and on and on and on.
Well, let me pause you for a second.
Okay.
What in that process? Oops.
Sorry. Sorry.
That lady's getting back at you.
That's right.
Or saying hi to you, showing
there
her presence. That's what I mean to say.
There
showing
you go. We got it. Thank you.
What was? Well, let me start with a small story. My grandfather, when I was a young man, was my hero. He was everything to me. I mean, he was he stormed the beaches of Normandy. He has 2 Purple Hearts. He taught me how to garden. He taught me how to cook, and he taught me what a compassionate man looked like. And he died. He died of symptoms of a condition due to Alzheimer's. I'll just tell you a quick funny story from my perspective. He was at one of my daughter's birthday parties, and he's standing in the yard. I'm talking to him, and he's like, my wife got me at this place. I don't even know where the fuck I'm at. And he's talking sorry, he grew up on the west side of Lansing in the 30s. So he talked like that.
Uh-huh.
And he
so go right ahead.
and so and he's talking to me, and he's at my house, and I'm like just so crushed, but so happy to still be with them. Mm-hmm. And then it just I could only do little things. And then it happened. He passed eventually. Then it happened to my grandmother, and she passed eventually, and it drifted apart. And I have regrets, and there are things that, what do young people need to be doing now to look at this potential future? Because it's not getting smaller. The population getting Alzheimer's is getting bigger. Is that correct?
Right. That's right. That is right.
And what's something you wish you would have done that would have prepared you a little bit better?
You know, Jerry, I brought everything I had to bear. My mom was a hard worker. She trained us girls. She had 3 girls. I had two. I have I had 2 sisters. I now have one. And she trained a strong work ethic into every one of us. Okay, so you know, she was a gardener, a canner, a cook, she was a beautician, so she was an entrepreneur. She was such an excellent beautician. She actually did Magic Johnson's mother's hair. That was her most famous client. So Magic was in the shop periodically because his mom would get her hair done during the week, and then they would send Irvin into the beauty shop on Fridays when Dad got paid to pay his mother's tab.
Mm.
So my mom was a excellent beautician, so much so that when a position opened at the Capital Area Career Center in Mason, she was thought about. And so she applied for that position and became the first African American cosmetology instructor at the Career Center in Mason.
Nice.
So as you know, I'm sure you know, teachers teach. And so, you know, today there's a lot of, oh, I need my own time. I need me time. Well, you know, back in that day, I can't remember one time my mother ever saying that she needed space or she needed time. It was always, come talk to me. Come do this. You know, chop these onions. You know, clean these strawberries, sugar them. Let's get them canned. Let's make the dressing. Let's make the cake. What do you have a taste for? Let's do the roast. Let's shovel the snow. Let's come out here and shovel these leaves together. Let's put on the Christmas music and get these Christmas decorations up. You know, she was just a strong leader, worker, just all the time. So therefore, this strong work ethic, and you couldn't quit anything, Jerry. If you started the swimming team, you had to finish the swimming team. Now, if you didn't have to do it next year, if you don't want to do it, fine. But you've committed yourself to doing it now, so you're going to finish the season. So there was no quitting. Yeah. So therefore, when this challenge came our way, I didn't know how to do anything else other than meet the challenge every damn day. Get up and do it. I mean, when you did that show, when you didn't have a person who showed up and you did that show, that's the kind of, you know I can imagine the kind of training that went into you because of this spirit and this, you know, the show must go on type of a spirit. And that's what I was trained with. I was also trained in sales and entrepreneurship because, like I said, my mother was a beautician. And when you're a beautician, you're an entrepreneur and you're selling people all the time. That's, you know, right. I was also an organizer. So I would call. I reached out and said to people, hey, I need help. Can you help me? They said, well, what can you do? What do you need? I need your time. When can you come? And so I solicited my neighbors. You know, there was a point in time when I worked for the Ingram County Health Department, and we would always reference, you know, the support being friends, family, neighbors, blah, blah, blah. So I said to myself, I don't even know my neighbors hardly. So if I ever get the opportunity, I will do something to bring my neighbors together. So this was before my mom ever came. I did flyers. I had become a stay-at-home mom. My husband's career had gotten in a position where we could afford for me to come home. So I came home, and one of the things that I did was to create flyers, and I put them all over the neighborhood, maybe 200 flyers or something, and started having meetings in our home on a monthly basis for the women in the neighborhood. Okay. And that continued on. It took up we rotated it from my house to, this one's house and that one's house and so forth. And they kept it going for years after I could no longer participate because I was now so immersed in mom's care that I couldn't continue to do the social thing with the neighborhood. Yeah. But the fact that I had done that years ago had developed relationships with those ladies such that when I needed a helping hand, I could call on them.
So again, the strength of community, build that community, be part of your community. You don't have to even create the community or lead the community, but get to be a part of it because communities take care of each other.
Yes.
And I mean, so I want to bounce over to something. I want to bounce over to 101 conversational.
Okay.
Will you tell us about that? And we're going to come back to your mother and we're going to come back to your mission and all of that. But let's talk about 101 conversational, the books in particular.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So here they are. These are my babies. Woo! Can you see them?
Yes.
So the conversational questions came about because my husband's brothers were married. He had two brothers, one that lived in Ohio and the other one that lived in Atlanta, Georgia. They both happened to be married. So when you have relatives that are far away, then when you have to strategize as to how to come together and actually have some quality time together. So I had this little book that I would always pack in my bag whenever we would drive to go and visit the brothers and their wives. And we would make conversation with this book of questions, right? And we enjoyed the book of questions. And so much so, you know how you have an old book and it's all dirty and it's half ripped and all that kind of thing because you've been using it so much. So we did a lot of communicating with the book, so much so that I said, one day I'm going to write a book of my own. I said, because we've gone back and forth over these questions that we have a million times. And so when mom came to live with us, Jerry, I knew that I had a manuscript where I had been, writing my questions. But when she came to live with us, I knew there was no way I was going to be able to complete that manuscript. So I retired it down to the basement and I said, one day we'll meet again, but I don't have time for you right now. So I put that away. And then after mom passed away, I went down to the basement. I retrieved the manuscript. And one of the young ladies who had been mom's caregiver was still a part of my village. And I said, will you help me? I said, I know that there's a way to get this book published, but I'm not a computer person, Jerry. So nothing that you see on the computer is ever done by me. Okay. And so she said, yeah, I'll help you. So she helped me. We got the first one published. That's a short version of the story. Of course, there's more to it than that. But after I had lived so many more years and so much more had happened over the 12 years, then the more questions just poured out of me. And I decided to make it a series. Okay. So basically, in my marriage, this particular book of questions, or the concept of using questions, gave us a lot of happy times. It gave us conversation venues that we would have never gone into had we not had a guided resource like that. And it gave my children, because we would engage them as well, which gives them speaking opportunities. And it gives them the opportunity to explore what their opinions are on this subject and that subject. And so I just found it to be a wonderful entertainment piece. It was free, basically.
Yeah.
You know, the books are so inexpensive, and they're the gift that just keep on giving. And so that's the story behind the book. I'm a friendly person. I love conversation, and I like to go deeper with people. I take interest in people. And so the books were just a natural fit.
So you have 3 books, right?
Yes.
What's the difference between the 3, and is there a theme for each book,
So,
or
no, okay. So these books are a combination, they're a compilation of questions regarding family, questions regarding government, questions regarding community and church, questions regarding the present, the future. So it's a great mixture of questions. So some people would go through and they would go question by question by question if they had guests over or entertaining their family. And some people might say, well, here, everybody take a book and then thumb through the books and see which questions jump out at you. And everybody take a turn at asking questions that they find to be interesting questions. And when you're taking road trips, you know, those long trips with the kids and stuff like that, oh, they're fabulous. And you know how you want the kids to talk, and you might say, well, say something. They say, well, what? What do you want us to talk about? I mean, nobody can think of anything to talk about. But if you use a resource like this, you'll start with these questions and it'll take you into other avenues. So it's a great assist for building closeness with people that you love and care about.
did you happen to see the episode of Every Damn Day with the Lansing area free stands? The couple that had the beards on, maybe not, but that's okay.
No, I didn't see that one.
But they're game designers, and they're very interested in talking to you. They were on the show just a few days ago on the summer solstice, so on the 21st.
Okay.
And they're game designers, and they have a card game. And it's conversational based. It's prods. Whether they teamed up with our creative dying entrepreneur, Megan, and created a creative dying book. And they're very interested in maybe talking to you about the Alzheimer's journey and the 101 conversational questions journey. And maybe there's something there that I think it might just be a connection. It's just one of the things we try to do here. But I now I understand your books a lot more, and I'm super interested because I'll tell you one thing. My wife and I were laying in bed the other night, and we had these cards that had questions, prodding questions, like you're saying. And it's not that we don't talk, but there's things we forget to talk about.
That's right.
And to have these books would be amazing. Everybody get out there and buy one of these books, because those prodding questions, those conversation starters are powerful.
Absolutely.
And they make your relation. We've only done it once so far, and it's already made our relationship better, and it already has made me see how 360 away. So these books, the value prop there is to stop being channeled. You're watching Facebook, they're telling you vote, politics, whatever, and we forget about all the other flowerful, perfect things. So really interested in these books and making sure we get those out there.
And how long have you been married, Jerry?
I've been married for 22 years.
22 years. So you got 22 from you. You got 23 from me. So our viewers need to take our advice very seriously, because, marriage is an art. It's a dance. And, there are tools and there are routines and practices that keep a marriage nourished. And this is one of those tools. So we have a lot of experience between the two of us. And so I want the viewers to take that very seriously.
And you've got a couple other things, and we're going to be running out of time, so we got to get rolling. But you've got your Our Mother's Matter merchandise, and you've got the Shawn Watson Davis TV.
That's right.
And so I'm going to ask you a question, and maybe you could touch on those two things too. What
Okay.
what is what do you think your mission as, I don't even know, an entrepreneur, a mother, a daughter, a widow,
Mhm.
is that the right word
Right.
anymore?
That's right.
What's your mission, and how does all this tie together? And then I'll ask you, what do you do every damn day to push that mission forward?
Well, with the Alzheimer's dementia journey, my job there, I feel, is to take that experience and do what I can with it. Number one, talk about it so that people become enlightened about it. Secondly, from there, I would like to get the dementia issue, the families dealing with dementia on the agendas, on the radar of people who that's their heart and their passion. They care for people and they tend to think about people with children who they need to be thought about. So, not to replace any agenda, but definitely to get Alzheimer's dementia families on the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing, at the end of my journey, mom spent time in two different facilities as we were trying to, I told you my house went from four of us here taking care of mom down to just me. And so my kids were like, Mom, you are going to kill yourself. You've got to do this. So they convinced me to try. And so I tried her in two different facilities. And what I found was that, it completed the experience, Jerry, because without the experience of dealing with facilities, then I couldn't speak to that from a personal experience standpoint. But having had that experience, I now know that there are places that are called dementia care or memory care, but the food menu service has nothing to do with dementia. You think that if it's a memory care agency, that they're going to be specialized in dementia care, including understanding the gut brain combination and understanding the nutrients, the iodine that people need, the seaweed, they need fish. They need the shellfish.
Yeah.
And they need the greens. They need the spinach. They need the fresh salad with romaine lettuce, not iceberg. So there's so many nutritional components that they're giving these people cheeseburgers, hot dogs, cookies, potato chips. There's zero regard to the nutritional values that are needed to maintain that brain function.
Okay.
And so, though I tried desperately to never put my mom in a facility, what I found was God had a different plan. And so, anyway, I want to participate in the rules and regulations that govern care facilities, and I want to be a part of establishing nutritional menus for those types of facilities.
Okay.
So that's the thing with that. So if everybody would please subscribe, that lady, Miss Betty, because the channel is a part of that ambition to educate and to be taken seriously. When people know that you have more followers, they take a channel and the mission of the channel and the spokesperson for the channel more seriously. So that's that. Now, going to Shawn Watson Davis TV, if everybody would please subscribe that channel as well. My mission there is to highlight my experiences in my 23-year marriage. I can tell you that I had a marriage that I am proud of. I can tell you that Bruce and I did a lot of good things that were both, marriage is a combination of the steady Eddie, the everyday routine things that you do, plus the surprises that you do here and there. And we had a lot of good things that are replicable that I can share and that I'm excited about. I want people to know that I'm excited about my marriage. I'm proud of it. And I can do things to contribute to the well-being and the health of every marriage, because we don't want divorces, but over 50% of us divorce. And it has a lot to do with the fact that we don't get coaching. We can't afford to go get counseling. And we don't know what to do to nourish a relationship. So the beauty of YouTube is that you can come into people and provide free information that they can replicate. And so that's what I'm excited about with Shawn Watson Davis TV.
Okay.
About relationships, family issues, personal care issues. It's more so about me. Whereas that lady, Miss Betty, is more about that specific experience with being a daughter of Alzheimer's.
Okay.
Did I cover everything? Is that what you wanted to get out of me?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Okay.
How would you sum up what you do every damn day to push it all forward? Like, is there some sort of self-care that you do that you learned? Because you must have been getting burned out. Things like that.
Roasted.
How do you take care of yourself? What do you read a lot? Do you study a lot? You got to learn the computer, man. You got to get up. You got to be able to do that. You got to come to coding club or something.
Yep. Yep. The demands just keep coming, right?
Yeah.
So what I do every day is I just move. My mind is creative. And so I've learned, and I'm learning more about the use of Facebook. And Facebook gives me the ability to be creative and learn how to convey the messages that I want to convey, and in a creative way, And so every day I am just after the marketing. My mind just works I'm looking through the pictures. I'm trying to find the pictures that support the messages that I want to put out there. And that's time consuming. And and my children, my daughter is here from college. She's in grad school now in Atlanta. And my son is here. He said he couldn't do the virtual thing. And so he's in waiting with his education. I've got grandchildren in Georgia that I got to love on. And, in terms of what I do for myself, I'm still in that mode where if I can just get a shower, and like today I put my makeup on, I always feel better in my makeup, but it takes time to put it on. So I don't do that every day, because some days I'm like, well, who's going to see you? It's like money, it's a budget of time. So it's like, I'd rather put my time into creating a nice story for the Facebook system or pulling together a nice post than I would putting makeup on. I still have to run the laundry, and I still got to do the dishes, and I still need to run to the grocery store. I love thrift stores. So when I do get out of the house, I like to stop into a thrift store and just kind of take my time, because these are things that one thing I couldn't do when I was taking care of mom. So I'm still in that mode really of, I'm still exhausted. But I know life is weird. My husband died at 52 years old. And I have things that I want to leave the world. I want these things to be in place for my children to continue to nurture and to continue to benefit from. So I'm running, Jerry. My sleep is off. That's why I can't connect with you very often, because I don't go to bed until 4:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, because that was the clock that I got on while taking care of mom. and I haven't been able to get that clock to turn. So, so all I can tell you is I'm working every damn day, doing and with the computer thing, like I say, I'm learning it. And how do I survive that? I say to myself, don't concentrate on what you don't know how to do. Concentrate on what you can do. And so that's what I do. And I just hope and pray for, other things to come. I love learning. I love growing, but I can only do that, at a tiny bit. And so I have to be satisfied with that and be happy that I'm still doing it, Jerry. I'm doing it. And I want that to be a message to other women and men and older people like me who don't know how to use the computer very well, and they have these dreams and things that they'd like to accomplish. And I think I represent the fact that somehow, some way, if you do what you can do and just be satisfied with that every day, do something, do what you can do, and be more focused on that. Be focused on what you can do. Ignore what you can't do.
Yeah.
Focus on what you can do, and it will take you there.
There you go. I love it a lot. So I want to point something out. You just talked for, I don't know, 5 minutes, whatever it was. It doesn't matter. About a very tight schedule, about tons of things that you're trying to do, about several missions that you've had. And not once did you use the word busy. Not once did you glorify your busyness. It just is what it is. And you got to get this shit done, and you're attacking it. Right. And I'm really proud of you for that, because so many people fall into the trap. Oh, I'm busy this, and I'm too busy that, and I'm too busy this. And they glorify that busyness. And you put all that BS aside, and I'm just going to get my shit done. And I'm really proud of that. That's amazing, Shawn, that I was listening for that word. I thought it might be coming, and you never used that word. And that was badass. Wow. That was super badass, because I can tell you're a very effective person. I know you're pretty busy. I know I don't even know how. I can barely come to my show every day. How do you come to my show every day? And it's just, you're amazing. And the Alzheimer's work and the dementia work is so important. And, you're right. We've got to be thinking about, who are the groups preparing us for this? You're going to be the group preparing us for it, I think, or something that spawns out of you. So let's go to the part of the show where we daisy chain the show together. And yesterday, I had Pam Lynch on the show, who is the founder of Harm Reduction Michigan, and she spends a lot of work in the substance use disorder space and a lot of work in the returning citizen space. But she also has a mother who's 95, who she is taking care of and lives with her now. And her question for you is, if you could go back in a time where your mother had, that you could ask her anything and she would remember, or she would participate, or she would tell you, what's the question you would want to ask her that maybe you didn't get to ask her?
So the question I would ask my mom is, what high school did you graduate from?
Serious?
Seriously, because I put on an 80th birthday party for her, and I had a game where people would fill out information, and she has one sibling, and he's living, and he has a good memory. He can't remember what high school she graduated from. He said he didn't graduate. He dropped out. But I know my mom graduated because she went on to Ferris State and achieved her Bachelor of Science degree. We, in fact, graduated with our degrees 1 month apart, Jerry.
Oh, nice.
My mom went to school class by class in a slow way. I went to school the traditional way in the 4-year period. And as fate would have it, we graduated 1 month apart from one another with our degrees. So I know she either got a GED or she got a high school diploma. But I don't remember her ever talking about it. And I've said to myself, maybe I could find that out by calling Ferris State, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. I did get her diploma by calling Ferris State, but that was years and years and years ago. But I didn't realize until recent times that I don't know what high school she graduated from. And when I asked her brother, he couldn't remember either. So that's the one missing thing. My mother was very verbal. So we talked about everything from A to Z. So that's the only thing that I can think about that I don't know the answer to.
Was she born and raised in Lansing?
She was born in Ripley, Tennessee, but she was raised in Lansing. She came here at a very young age. I don't know, maybe 3, 5, something young like that.
Was her name Betty Watson?
Her name was Betty Plummer. That was her maiden name. She became Betty Watson via marriage to my father.
I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do hyphen math very well, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Betty Plummer. All right.
Yeah.
Someone out there find out where Betty Plummer graduated from high school.
Yes. And the Plummer is double M. Plummr.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah. So, middle initial D, if that helps.
Okay.
D for Doris.
So tomorrow on the show, I have Michael Lynn. He is one of the founders of the Village Lansing. You said the Village earlier. It takes a village. Get involved with your community. Get involved with your community. We protect each other. Communities take care of each other. Yep. And he also runs a podcast, America 20 to Life. And he also has started a new initiative where he is doing firearm training and education, especially for the youth, especially for the young black men and the young brown men in our community, or kids, maybe. I don't know how to say it because maybe the females are getting involved. But in particular, let's get people who are out there with guns. We've got a lot of gun violence. Let's at least get them trained and educated and safe. And I love his mission. Like I love your mission, like I love Pam's mission. What question would you like to ask Michael?
I would ask Michael, if money were not an issue, without any concern to money, what would you do to add to your team of support? What are you missing in terms of building a team of support?
Okay. And I'm going to flip that exact question back at you. If money wasn't an issue right now, what do you need on your team of support? Who do you need in your corner with you?
I feel that I would love just a marketing machine, my brain and my story, my life story can be put to use in so many different ways and capacities. And so I'm more of a creator like that. And some people have a marketing brain where they know how to take somebody like me and figure out how it can be positioned and sold, and it can do good work while also producing revenue. And so I would love a marketing machine. In fact, if I could be mentored by someone, like my idea for that would be somebody like a Kris Jenner. Yeah, okay. Because she seems like she has a formula, and a formula that works, and she's got that marketing brain. And so if there's somebody in our community that has that marketing brain, and that's their mission and their passion, I would love to join forces with someone like that.
All right. Now, I just want to make one more comment, and then we'll finish up here. Okay. Paul Smith, he's with Uno Deuce Media. He's a great marketing machine. Should introduce you sometime. Okay. He told me just a few weeks ago, a month ago, document, don't create. And when I look at your story and I look at the brands that you're creating around your stories, I see documentation. I don't see you creating something false like, hey, this will make you happy. It's here's what happened and get on board with me. And what you're doing right now, I think you are a marketing machine. I do think maybe you don't have that churn or those algorithms or whatever mastered yet, but you keep documenting and don't try to create something that ain't there, because all we need is Shawn and the authentic Shawn, because that's what's going to sell. That's what's going to raise the funds to support this. And that's what's making you my hero, because I want to help with Alzheimer's. I want to help with dementia. I want to see something done about that. It's affected my life greatly. I have some of my only regrets in life are around that space there. So, Shawn, you are a badass. You are a great supporter. You're amazing. And your story, just in love with your story. So everyone, let's get out there and support Shawn, that lady, Miss Betty, Shawn Watson Davis TV, 101 conversational questions. You can order
and that's
those.
sold on Amazon. We forgot to say that.
Yep.
Books are sold on Amazon, or you can get them via Cash App. Just contact me through Messenger. If you want to buy them through Cash App, then you can just contact me through Messenger on Facebook.
So, Shawn Davis, that must be someone related to you, thinks that you're amazing, and it's an awesome show. So,
thank you. That's my daughter. Yay!
One of my best gifts I got today was a lovely note from my daughter telling me she was proud of me, and I can't think of a more amazing gift.
That is the best.
Yeah. Shout out to Shawn. You're good. You're a good kid, Shawn. You're a good daughter. So, and I'm sure she's not a kid. She's in grad school after all. So,
she helped me set up, though. She helped me get on with you today. So I'm so thankful to her. I can't tell you.
Well, Shawn, thank you so very much. Thank you for letting me borrow your mother for an hour on Christmas Day. And 101 Conversational, get on that. Subscribe to that lady, Miss Betty. Get on Shawn Watson TV, and there's even Our Mothers Matter merchandise. So lots of ways to connect with Shawn, lots of ways to engage with Shawn. Shawn, I love you. Thank you so very much for coming on the show, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Jerry. You're the best.
All right, everyone. Tomorrow and every damn day, it's Michael Lynn. Come check it out. And everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you're celebrating. Salam alaikum. And see you later.